Hey everybody, in the latest live news, I got a bunch of stories. I do this every final Thursday of the month, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And even if you miss it, I record it and post it for you. So I'll just go through these real quickly. This first thing, this is from early in the month, but a bunch of states. We got a couple of things happening. We've got a lot of news around rescheduling, which we'll talk about for sure. But then also, this is an election year. We've got 9 more months. It's going to go by quickly. And so you can get involved in your state. So these are just states that are going to either go from nothing to medical or from medical to rec, like Florida. This should be on the vote as well this year. We've got Florida, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, West Virginia, Hawaii, Virginia, North Carolina, all those just mentioned right here. So lots going on the state side. We have the big hemp news. After the election, I think it's a week after the election, the hemp rule goes into effect, banning hemp-derived THC nationally. There's going to be, between here and there's a lot of lobbying and a lot going on. 4 in 5 consumers oppose the ban. On top of that, we've got the CBD program that Trump signed into his executive order coming. So there's just a lot of variables. It's going to be a very exciting year. The bottom line, I tell people always remember, 8 out of 10 Americans, doesn't matter what state they're in, 8 out of 10 of us want access to these products. Hemp, THC, CBD, CBN, CBG, on and on and on, for good reason. There's real medical uses. So I tell people when 8 out of 10 of us agree on something, that's the good news in our country. That's why we've seen these things move forward so much over the last 12 years, is because things happen when we're at 50-50, it's hard to get anything done. And maybe that's a good thing too. But when we're at 80-20, things get done as well. So another one on DEA. There's going to be several stories on this. The executive order came in December 18th. Trump says, hey, this has been going on for 3 years now. We've been a long way through the process with HHS approving it, FDA approving it, public comment, public approving it. Let's get this thing finished. He made an actual order ordering Pam Bondi at the DOJ to finalize this move of cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, and we're literally waiting for this every day. There's lots and lots of speculation going on, so I'll let you read this. Now, remember I said 80-20 cannabis supporters. There's still a very vocal, very well-funded 20% minority that absolutely hate cannabis. They're going to lose in the long run. You know, if we were legalizing alcohol right now, I guarantee you there would be a very strong 20% with good reason people that would oppose that. And that said, most people want to have access to alcohol in a legal adult way, state regulated, and so these things will come as well. So the good news is, and they tried to stick this in the funding bill to block the rescheduling. It failed, so that was another win for us as well. Here's one. I don't do as many of these stories. This is Bosnia. They're legalizing. So this is going on globally. There's many, many countries around the world that are legalizing cannabis at the same time as we are. So that goes as well. Kentucky, very big hemp state. A little bit ironic with Mitch McConnell. He was a big pusher of the hemp movement. And then actually he backtracked and was a key in getting the hemp movement, this new bill through. So we'll see what happens. He's going out the door. Kentucky's now selling medical cannabis dispensary, and they run out of product in 1 week. What does that mean? They need more farms and they need more product on the shelves. And so, again, it just shows when this opens up, the demand is there. Here's another one. This is on the medical side. I believe now there's 37,000 medical studies. And when cannabis goes to Schedule 3, we're going to see that number absolutely explode, because now it'll be easier for all the universities and hospitals and scientists to do medical studies, much easier access to do the research. And so just hundreds of ailments, and it's very prevalent with people with disabilities. And the other thing about this, when we look at like big medical things, cancer, pain, anxiety, autism, epilepsy, these are the biggies. cannabis is, we have studies showing it helps all of them. And so it's not going to go backwards. People want this for good reason. In my generation, we tried the experiment with opiates, and my parents and a lot of her age in the 80s group, and opiates kill people. They don't work. They're addictive. And that's what doctors prescribe for decades. And our generation now, the baby boomers, we don't want that. We want to try things like cannabis that is not addictive as well. This is on hemp concrete. That has nothing to do with medicine or recreation or anything. It's just like, yeah, we're taking hemp, we're making bricks to build. It's a really good building material, so that's fun to see. California sales hit 3.6 billion in 2025. That's one state. And multiply that times 50, you get 150 billion. We're at a $30 billion market. We've got a lot of growth ahead. Now just look at the California market alone. 3 billion was sold legally. How much was sold illegally in California via the illegal markets, and really spreading that over the US? I've seen estimates everywhere from $30 to $50 billion. So still a long way to go moving the illegal markets into the legal markets. But again, the demand is here. This next one is a blog on rescheduling, really deep dive into the whole process and the DOJ and what happens when it happens. So yeah, I thought it was a good article that really summarized everything. Same on this next one. Hirsch Jane, great guy, very smart, out of Harvard Law School, and big cannabis advocate. He does a podcast on this rescheduling that goes very deep. It's on X, but check it out if you have that. It's a very deep dive as well. Here's Massachusetts. They're setting a record. Again, there's some few, the minority in Massachusetts want to push back the medical movement in Massachusetts, but here we are. They're in, I don't know, year 7 or 8, and they hit a record in 2025. And you sometimes hear these, oh man, cannabis is dying. No, it's not. We're setting records. You can, again, the chart nationally, it's up and to the right every year. COVID, whoever's president, red administration, blue, it doesn't matter. The chart goes up and to the right. And so it's not too hard. These are the kind of trends I like to invest in. When I see things that are long term, I know for a fact, if we got 10 years from now, cannabis is going to be very similar to alcohol in the U.S. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be state regulated. It's going to be adult use, but it's going to be everywhere. And so that's a very easy bet for me to make. I'm glad I'm in this movement. And then as we grow each year from the state movement side, you look at this news article. Teens are finding it harder to access even as legalization spread. And they're actually finding that in states where things are legal, they're having less problems with alcohol and other things. So we're getting good data out of this as well. Now here's the national sales number. We're hitting close to 30 billion. It goes again. So the last year, 2025, the market about 30 billion, depending where you get your numbers, and that doesn't include the illegal market. So the true number is certainly over 100 billion. It's a 100 billion market in the US. So the only question is how much is in the legal market and how much is in the illegal market. And I think all of us want to get it into the legal market. It can be taxed, regulated. Those tax dollars go to things like schools and other things as well. Now here's another absolutely massive market. Texas is the size of California. It's eventually a $40-50 billion market alone, just Texas. They're consuming massive amounts of hemp-derived THC right now. I've seen numbers in the billions of dollars. So if you look on a map, it still says Texas is illegal. That's not really true. They've been slowly expanding medical access for quite some time now. And so they're trying to figure out how to transition between the hemp side and the cannabis side. But I would look for something on the ballot in Texas by the end of this year. And again, every poll in Texas mirrors the national polls. 8 out of 10 Texans want legal cannabis. And so they're going to get it. And the people who are in power, who aren't allowing that to happen, that will go away as well. Now, here's an article just a few days ago. Hemp's death sentence can get a stay of execution. So, again, we got a long way to go between now and November. Hemp itself is about a $30 billion market. And there's a lot of people that are using those products, whatever they are, and they're not going to be happy to have these taken away. It's not just the companies that are selling them. So we'll see that. Here's one on the Second Amendment and around access to guns if you're on a farm. We've seen cannabis farms be robbed by people with machine guns, and the people on the farm have no defense. I wouldn't want to be there. Okay, here's my last story. So, Matt Gate, I don't really know all that much about him. He was the original pick for the Attorney General that now Pam Bondi is. He was former congressman, very red, out of Florida, so very connected to that. Pam Bondi out of Florida, Trump out of Florida. So he definitely has some insiders. He's a congressman. He posted yesterday that the final rule to move cannabis to Schedule 1 is being drafted right now. Whether you love him or hate him, I think that's probably good information. In the article, they mentioned that back in May, he made a similar kind of leak of data that Schedule 3 was going to happen. Almost nobody thought that was going to happen. So again, this is a good indication that maybe something's going on right now. We're hopefully, by the time I do my February news event, I'm hoping we are Schedule 3. What's going to happen, the number one thing after that, people are going to file lawsuits, but I don't care. We're going to get that, it's going to be the rule, the roles flipped. Instead of us on the cannabis side doing lawsuits, now it's them. Now we're on Schedule 3. 280 doesn't apply. They can sue us all day long. They're going to lose. The federal government has its own studies. We went through this process for 3 years. We went through the HHS. We went through the FDA approval. We went through the public comment period. If the DEA drafts this final rule, I just think, yes, we're going to get lawsuits. Are they going to win? I think it's less than 10%, less than 5% even. So anyway, that's my take for today. And have a great week. And I think 2026 is going to be a great year for both hemp and cannabis.